As always, by Colorado Harvest Company.
Colorado Harvest Company.
People are coming from all over the world to check out Denver's growing cannabis industry. And most of them are leaving happy after they've been to Colorado Harvest Company. Why Colorado Harvest Company? For so many reasons. We pride ourselves on carrying only the most consistent flowers and products, with knowledgeable and friendly bud tenders that'll assist you with everything that you need. Buds, vaporizers, concentrates, topicals, edibles, and drinks, all from only the best companies in the state. If you're looking for the best cannabis experience in Denver, look no further than Colorado Harvest Company.
Hey guys, this is Allie Greenstone from Mary's Medicinals. I'm here with Chad Drew. This is PotTalk on World Viral TV.
All right, News Buzz Live. This is PotTalk. Chad, what's going on?
What? Excited for PotTalk this week, you guys. Today we got Floyd Landis in the house. From
You guys
Floyd.
are waiting for the theme song.
I
Floyd,
was, dude.
here you go, Floyd.
He gives us a
This
totally
is the
different
first
start.
time we've had any intro to this theme song in a while.
Right. This is what
Every
Chris
week I
rolls down
forget
Colfax
about
Plains. He loves it. What do you think? Yeah.
Yeah, just give me a copy of that if you can.
Chris has a couple copies of it. So Floyd Landis in the house. Floyd, thank you for being here, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
So I got to just everybody's question, dude. How did you go from where you are and explain where you were and to now what you're doing, man?
Yeah, so a lot of my life up until 10 years ago, 12 years ago now, I guess. I'm not sure how long it's been, but I used to race bicycles and.
Won the Tour de France, yeah?
Yeah, I did.
You won the Tour de
2006.
France.
Well, they subsequently kicked me out, but yeah. At some point there, I did win. Yeah.
And on Lance Armstrong's team for many, many years.
I was on a team with him for 3 years before he retired.
Did you ever participate in the Grand Prix Cycliste in Quebec City?
Yeah, one time.
I was
ago.
actually just up there for that race in September.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a cool city, man. I really like it up there. It's nice.
And now I heard that you're in the cannabis industry now. It's fun to see professionals from here and from there all together. And I always wonder how it is that you go from here to there, because I've been in a lot of different professions. My actual question about it all is, so with Lance Armstrong, I'm always considered like an enabler. I'm the one that gets people started smoking weed. So is that how you do it? No.
Yeah, look, man, I was lucky. I got to do something I love to do for a long time in my life, and then, there were some ups and downs after that whole Tour de France debacle. But I'm in the industry because it helped me. It's something that's, I think, it's a lot more talked about now and more understood how much professional athletes deal with pain when they're done with their careers, and I think it's good that there's dialogue about it. I mean, it's legal here, but there's still plenty of people that think it's, for some reason, socially harmful or unacceptable. And I just feel lucky that I'm in the right time and place where I can be part of it.
Totally. Yeah. And it's actually been cracking me up, actually, ironically, that is with the NFL and everything like that, and now with the Olympics that just happened recently, that with athletes, people are trying to debate within cannabis, which has faced a lot of questions of whether or not cannabis is a performance enhancement drug or not. What do you like? What's your take on that? Because that kind of cracks me up.
No, look. It enhances your perception of your performance. How about that?
Right.
You feel better about yourself.
Yeah.
Even if you don't win.
Yeah.
I guess you could make the argument that if you can manage pain better and you can sleep better, that somehow would help your performance. But I think it's senseless to say that you can't use that particular drug. But there are all these other really long-term use, very harmful drugs, right? Narcotics, all these drugs that people are prescribed. I know, but we've said it a million times, but people just. I think there's people out there that they bought the whole, marijuana is a gateway drug bullshit, and
for so long.
Yeah, and so they're stuck on that. And they're having a hard time changing because they number one haven't tried it or don't know someone that's benefited from it, I guess. And yeah, we're getting there though.
Right.
So talk a little bit about Floyd's of Leadville and how the concept was born and what exactly it is you're doing.
Yeah, so we're a brand of marijuana infused products. We use at the moment we use only CO2 extracted oils.
Okay.
We make stuff for people to manage pain or recover from workouts or relaxation afterwards. We make some vape pens. We make transdermal THC and THC CBD creams.
Yeah, I was
stuff that's
wondering about
useful
your
for-
creams. It's got to be. I mean, obviously something that you're fairly familiar with and stuff. Talk to us about what separates your lotions and creams from some of the other ones that are more predominant in the market that people know of.
Well, so we're a little bit newer than a lot of the other guys, and there are some other really good products out there. We use a pharmaceutical grade base that helps with the absorption of THC. It's ironically the same thing you would use for testosterone or progesterone or something like that, but it works and it helps with the absorption. And look, I think it's a good way for people that are a little bit skeptical but willing to try marijuana for pain to use it, because it doesn't feel taboo. They're not smoking something there.
Right. Well, and typically with a topical lotion or something like that, that's a great way for a patient that has muscle pain, nerve pain, depending on whatever. There's a lot of lotions out there, but it'll give you a chance to be able to check out cannabis without having any of those psychotropic effects that everybody's tripping about.
Right, and you can use it at a local place for local pain, and it has real value. And the more people that use it for legitimate reasons like that, I think the more we'll be allowed to talk about the uses of it.
Yeah.
That's it.
For sure. And you guys also have cartridges and vape pens too.
We do, yeah. We
Pretty
make
cool.
vape cartridges. Just THC oil tastes good.
Do you think there is progression with the within the athletic community of people maybe a curve being rounded as far as approach to medical cannabis?
Yeah, it certainly seems like it. I mean, now it hasn't been that long. It seems like there's been a lot of articles now, but it's only recently that athletes have been willing to talk about it in the press.
Definitely.
So, there's progress. There's progress in talking about it, and then there's progress in people actually acting and saying, okay, this is enough now. We don't have to, we don't have to ostracize people because they use marijuana.
Right.
They shouldn't put it in the same category as other performance enhancing drugs that they're trying to regulate. It just isn't. It's not the same thing, and it's senseless that it's there to begin with. It's, I think that's the prevailing view with the athletes, but a lot of them are afraid to say it just because who wants to, put a lightning rod on their head.
Yeah. For sure.
When you got sponsors that are counting on you to
It's been a
not
lot
say
of that.
something that's gonna, put their name in any controversy or
affiliated
anything,
with it all in
Yeah.
that taboo.
Has the publicity from the debacle, as you called it, been helpful? I mean, they say there's no such thing as bad press, right? Has that helped
But
you?
they say that, but I can tell you firsthand that's not true.
I'm interested in how dealing with the press was during that time, before and after.
Yeah, so before that, I'd raced on the team with Lance Armstrong, but I wasn't particularly famous. We had attention because we were on the team with him, but he was really the focus of that whole thing. So I dealt with cycling press or smaller press outlets, things like that. But yeah, after I won the tour, and then a few days later they announced that positive test, and I mean I just got crushed.
Yeah.
You can see the change too. They show you, okay, here over here he's a champion. You just look at the pictures they pick out, and they're like, okay, there he looks guilty, he looks angry. They cherry pick what they want you to look like, and when the press decides you're convicted, there's nothing you can say. That's it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I can't tell you. I've mentioned a couple times this week to my friends, just kind of seeing, and I've said, like, guess who's coming on the show? They're like, Floyd Landis, and everybody's like, I know that name. How do I know that name? And I'll be like, won the Tour de France, but now and like, oh yeah, and they'll kind of remember those times, of hearing that stuff. But then I mentioned now he's in the cannabis industry, and everybody's like, that's fucking cool.
It is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised because there have been quite a few years where I just tried to avoid the press because it was painful, right? And I didn't want to talk about that subject anyway, and so I was a little bit unsure what the reaction would be.
Right.
But you know what? Honestly, most of the press, I think, supports legalized marijuana, and they just need a story that they can tell where they can make it look good, and they can, without actually saying they support it, say, okay, we support this guy for doing that, and that's good enough.
And the Denver Post has actually done a good job of presenting that angle for the last couple of years with Rick Baca doing the cannabis and that kind of stuff. There has been a shift, I think, in the press's approach to it too.
Right. They've actually, things like the cannabis and Ricardo Baca, I think, have made it more of a discussion as opposed to being so taboo. But Floyd, if you haven't been told recently, our Denver cannabis industry revolution nationwide, worldwide needs you and needs the 49er guy and the other football guys and the other athletes that have used it for one reason or another. You know what I mean? Because you're considered more of the high echelon of fitness, and if it's fucking good for an athlete, that says everything all the way to an old lady, dude.
And it has value for all those people. Look, I mean, there's some dispute about whether we should allow people to get high. That's real value. It gives you some entertainment. And if you're reasonable about things, you don't abuse them, then look, man, just if people want to do that, these people, I mean, they're just trying to get through life like everyone else, right? I want 2 hours of the day just being happy.
Yeah,
Who's to say you can't do that?
Totally.
Yeah. So you've been doing some touring around the nation a little bit. Do you talk about cannabis in other states and stuff? Go to some of the trade shows and stuff?
I haven't done too much of that. I was kind of focused on getting the brand going, and I was also a little hesitant to schedule things where I wasn't sure what the reaction would be. But it's been good, and you know, I think enough time has passed, and people sort of see that professional sports aren't exactly what maybe we all. Well, I was on the other side of it, tried to sell to people, but people, I think they know there's more to it now. And I wish they didn't tie cannabis in with that whole thing, and I think that's a problem. But on the other hand, it does give, you know, Ricky Williams and Eugene Monroe, these guys, a platform to say, okay, well, look, they're high-profile guys, and now things will get changed if enough of those guys start talking. If it's just a few, then people say, okay, those guys are just stoners, and they're making excuses. But if everyone comes out and says, look, no, has real medical value for us, it's going to be hard to stop.
I talk often about how the best thing that could happen to the cannabis industry is for the NFL to say, okay, right on. If the NFL did something like that, a big conglomerate corporation, dude, full of athletes, it would be awesome that way. So tell us a little bit about that brand. How's the branding going? How's the launching? Are you being able to keep up with supply and demand?
Yeah, it's been going well. We've been a little bit behind on supplying it, but getting into dispensaries is just a matter of going out and talking to people. And it's a nice industry in that sense because, you know, there aren't too many big groups that are controlled like a corporation. Most of the time you go to a dispensary, you'll meet the people making decisions, and everybody involved is happy because they like the product. They feel like they're part of something that matters to them. It's really, I mean, it's a really good atmosphere.
Yeah, very cool. How can we get yours? How can we get your stuff?
If you want something.
How can those awesome fans?
In Denver here, we're in a couple different dispensaries. We're in True Cannabis. We've got 4 or 5 locations here, and then up in the mountains, we're in a bunch of different at the station in Boulder. We're in all of the dispensaries up in Leadville, and a bunch of them in the I-70 corridor there. Just, you know, we're trying to get our brand out. And like I said, there's a lot of really good products out there. I like to try out everyone else's stuff along the way, too. Without overdoing it.
Very cool. We're very honored to have you around. You're welcome to hang out as long as you want to, man. So
thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me, man.
Floyd, thanks for coming down, man.
Yeah, Floyd's of Leadville. Go check him out. Social media, web pages, all that fun stuff, right? Thanks for being here, Floyd.
Thanks,
hang
guys.
Out.
I'll chill for a while. It was good.
Floyd Landis. We'll be right back with some more Music Buzz Live. Stick around.